listen, he was looking for something. He finally found this young, unarmed prince, and he murdered him. Stop the video when I lie. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. And I didn't want it to be too much longer before I spoke again. I first want to say, before I get into the information, I want to just do some housekeeping. At some point in this video, I will read the names of the most recent donors to the campaign, the GoFundMe campaign for my move to Ghana, West Africa. I also want to discuss some other issues that are on the table and would have been discussed by me, in addition to the main topic that we're going to deal with. I want to begin with a quote that I love from President Kennedy. He said, "Some look at things as they are and say, why? I dream of things that never were and say, why not?" I love that quote. I love that quote. I also love the quote that says, "The only thing needed for evil men to succeed is for good men to stand aside and do nothing." And then I will quote my own self in this next one, and that is to say that you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. That you must be the captain of your ship and you must stand at your gate. This is infinitely true and crucial for African people across the diaspora, but certainly in this nation. Because, as I always articulate, this is the central headquarters of all things evil and the decline of humanity. I'd like to add that. You know, this is the worst place you could live on the earth. And I was contemplating last week, the thought came to me in the middle of the night: what is America? What is America? What is America? And I will attempt to offer an identity and an answer to that question as we move through this. You know, my birthday is in February, and not only are we going into a new year next month, but we're actually going into a new decade. Decade, as Kennedy used to say. Decade. We choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Decade. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to, you know what I'm saying? That's how you need to say it from now on. That's official, feel me? Anyway, it's going to be a new decade, and so I realize that it's practical for me I'm going to probably end up breaking down and getting another computer, you guys, because there's so much stuff that I have to do and correspondence that I have to do associated with my move to Africa, that I have done up to now and will continue to be doing, and so therefore I am going to need that. So I just mentioned that I'm probably going to, and I can rationalize it for myself, because I always tell you guys it's very difficult for me to buy or spend money on anything. Even if I wasn't moving to Africa, I'm just that dude. Like, I just can't. I just can't. You know, I can have the money and can get something, but I always talk myself out of it. Like, no, you haven't made this practical Jedi, and this doesn't mean you can't, and then I just don't. But when it's practical, then I acknowledge that, and I go ahead and do that. So I've made it practical, and like I said, I probably will execute that sooner than later. You know, So, fine. Alright. I also mentioned in my last video, you guys, that I did with the primary topic of that video. It's important to say primary topic because you know that my videos are usually never one topic. I'm rangy. I'm rangy, you know. And but the focus of that piece was this twit that is running for president, this Pete Buttigieg person who has just is making up black support out of thin air. That was essentially the main thing of it. And I said to you then, I said in that video, I said I can imagine that there will be some black Christian groups, probably a pastor, that will give him a photo op and all this and make it seem like that he has some black support and how dangerous it was and everything. And I wasn't even done. I don't even know if the gigabytes on the damn video were even fully sealed before I saw out of Atlanta there he was cozied up with I think it was at a school, one of the universities. It could have been a high school, because high school kids look like college kids now to me. But there he was, and they were grinning in his face, and they were shaking his hand, and they were all in his face, and so glad to take selfies with him and all this. That's one of the reasons why you're only getting this video now, because I was hospitalized since that moment. Do you understand me? It was predictable. You know? Predictable. And something else with him, and I can't. You know? But there it was, as I predicted. I did jot some things down so that just like stuff, don't forget to mention this type stuff. And so I'm going to be all over the place. This is random out the gate right here, you guys. Where is Dexter King? The one that looks exactly like his father. I've asked this in previous work. Where is he at? I contemplated this recently again because something I was watching, and oh, it's one of your homework pieces. There's a link. There's some videos that I'm linking in the description box under this video. That is your homework, everybody. You must go and watch these pieces. I never demand the time of my audience for anything, to watch me, to listen to me, to go to a link or anything unless there is value. The only reason why you see me right now is because I have something of value for you. That's it. This is not a hobby. This is not about popularity. This is not about just, trying to have some fame and all this kind of nonsense. I've been very clear in not only in my words, but in my actions and my deeds of why I'm here on this damn platform. So anytime you see me or hear me, that means I have something of value that is going to enrich you. All right? So this is no different, and you must participate. So I was watching one of the videos you're gonna go watch. It's Dr. King's speech called "The Other America." Why you're going to watch this video is because he is speaking at, it looks like a university or college or something, but the audience is mostly white, all white, from what I could tell. And everything that he's saying in that speech is, if you didn't know, if it wasn't in black and white and you didn't know he had been assassinated or you didn't know who he was, you would swear he's talking about this guy. He's giving, where's he giving, like you just go down there and hear the speech right now. Oh, he's speaking someplace right now. Let me see if he's in my town. Let me Google it. The speech is right now, do you understand? The other value of that speech is that it's one of these ones, it's one of the many, it's one of the majority that we don't ever hear or as a people. Like, I know about these. Me and my dad used to, this is one of the things we used to do when we pull all-nighters, you know, especially in the last 5 years of his life. You know, anytime if I would be at my sister's house or he would be at my house, we would usually be pulling all-nighters, and those usually entailed food and snacking, long, endless discussions about music, because we're both musicians, I will be revealing my father to you all. I told you guys when I reveal other stuff about me, I'll reveal that too. I need you to know my father's all over the internet, you know. And when I reveal him, you'll be like, oh, that's your dad, you know. But anyways, it would be long, all nights of music and discussion about music and his stories and all that, and my own entertainment and stuff like that. Or it would be, you know, speeches. We listen to Malcolm X speeches, Dr. King speeches, and people like that. You know, James Baldwin, and you could go down the list to give you the flavor. So this one of Dr. King is one of the ones that most of our people would not be checking for. You know, it's like many of our people have never read, you know, Letters from a Birmingham Jail. You know, all we know is I Have a Dream, and not even all of that. There's been several times in my work over the years on my channels, because as you guys know, this is not the only incarnation of the Jedi. I had 2 other huge channels that were shut down, but I have taken the time over the years to go through and read you the entire speech. It's an indictment of America, as it should be. You see, calling it to account, you know, but usually we only get the little, you know, nappy-headed little kid in the oversized shirt and the tie that's not tied properly, and the shirt is wrinkled and his hair is all over the place, hasn't been combed in a month, there's bed lint in it and everything, little Taiwan, and now he's going to recite I Have a Dream. But he's the cutest thing ever, and he starts where everybody else normally starts. I have a dream today. That's the last cadence part of the damn speech. You know. So this speech is significant that you're going to watch, because where he's giving it, what he's saying, the nowness of his entire lecture, it also backs up what I say and know inherently, and is absolutely the truth, as if it was on the tablets that Moses brought down from Sinai, that white people today are the same as they were in 1619, as they were in 1965, as they were in 1875, as they were in 1975, as they were in 2005, as they are right now as I speak. The same people doing the same thing, the same language, the same everything, the same everything. That should be an eye-opener for you. What do we say? The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And I always tell you, I'm not seduced by it. I know. I've been trying to ring the bell for my people to let you know, nah, I know what's up. These people are the same people. They've been doing the same thing forever. There is no innocence, because the behavior is consistent throughout. How is any generation of them that we encounter, they're doing and saying the same thing? So these ones that are today don't get to pop up and say, well, I'm not part of that, and I'm different, and I'm new. No, you're not. Snakes don't change their damn slither. When a snake gets up and starts walking, somebody call me. I'll be very interested to see it. You understand me? So you're going to watch that video. Alright, the other 2 videos that I have there are 2 from someone I introduced you to not too long back, Her Excellency, Dr. Arikana Chirumborikwa. And she was then the AU ambassador to the United States. She has been let go, because again, the truth that she tells, and the only people denying truth on the earth to all the masses and all humanity and have a visceral response to truth and righteousness, is white people. That's just the fact. I don't have to like these facts any more than anybody else, but damn it, they're the truth. They just are. Nobody is suppressing truth and having the visceral reaction to the truth other than these people. That's what's real. That's what's real. So I have 2 videos from her that you're going to go and watch, because just it's an overall, you need to watch those, all right, because they are all part of your juxtapositioning and contrasting. You know, when I ask the question, what is America? You know, and I will attempt to answer that question. But, you know, I'm also making the case for Africa as well, of why we need to be up out of here, and you need to put everything else aside and begin to understand you only have one arc through life. So you need to step out on faith and trust and know that you got to get up out of here. This is not the spot, everybody. This is not the spot. This is not the spot. In fact, it's the worst spot. You understand me? Now, so that's going to be your homework, all right? I briefly wanted to speak about, because I wanted to speak about, because one of you all, one of the troops that made me aware of this, that they were going to be celebrating the brother of both of Shimjan for his nutless act and his outrageous display towards the murderer of his brother. Do you understand me? Listen, as I said, and I'll say briefly again, listen, I absolutely understand compassion and forgiveness, everybody. I am a Muslim. I am a righteous man. If I'm telling you we don't got that to do, we don't got that to do. Because I'm only interested in submitting to what it is that my Maker instructs and has instructed and requires and expects of me. I don't have to be forgiving murderers and hugging them. That's not our burden. That is Christian vomit. You understand? And it's also psychotic, especially for African people. Especially. You understand? And so, at the time that I was made aware of it, it hadn't happened. It has happened now. All right? The brother of Botham John, Brandit, or Brant, B-R-A-N-D-T, Brant Jean, was honored for the courtroom moment when he forgave and hugged the whore and murderer who killed his brother. And remember, we don't control media. You understand? We don't set the conversation. And so this is their media giving this now push and visibility, because how we know about it. You see, everybody saw the trial, that's fine. But now you're doing this. Why? I always tell you, it's the most divine word that comes out of the mouth of a child, and what we all need to get back to as adults. Why? We want to ask that for everything. Why? You see? Because it's two reasons I suggest. One is to rub this in our face. Because we wouldn't be honoring him. I'm going to read this and find out who was honoring him. But we wouldn't or shouldn't be honoring him. So I would suspect it's them honoring him. The same way, these are the same people who want to latch on to Dr. King because he told us not to beat their ass. You see? And genocide their ass off the earth like they've done to everybody else and are still doing. They love any message that says stay off their ass. They love that. You see? And so this would be right in that same elevator. You know? Forgive us when we do wrong. Because we do know wrong, and we're right even when we're wrong. Even when we're sitting in a courtroom being judged for the murder of one of your people, you're supposed to show us love and forgiveness and put a fan on us and give us a stylist and have Beyonce coming out of the ceiling singing Halo and all of it. You see? There will be no honor in this. In fact, this dishonors his brother. Dishonors. Okay, so Botham John's brother honored for embracing the murdering white devil whore. That's all she's ever going to be to me. I'm not going to say wonderful, beautiful things about her. You understand? You think they will call O.J. or Bill Cosby something fantastic and wonderful? I think not. Think they'll call R. Kelly something wonderful and fantastic? I think not. What's good for the goose? So, murdering white devil whore. It's all there. All right. the sellout ass brother of a man. Okay, brother, embrace the murdering horror. Okay, the brother of a man. What man? You feel me? Not, they didn't say the brother's name right there in the very opening. I assume they're going to say it, but that would be the first opportunity to do it. So the first moment that you have to respect this man, you don't. And I always tell you, put anything in front of me that somebody's written, I'm going to tell you who they are. You see? And words don't just magically appear on pages. Somebody wrote this. And there's an editor, a writer, and a publisher. And they all agreed that that was going to be right there. You understand me? So it's not just what you're reading, it's the dissertation of the actual material itself. This is right up there with, we have a gentleman here breathing. We have a gentleman here who's not breathing. The most famous human being ever recorded in human history, and you say a gentleman here? Not Michael Jackson. So it's right up there with that. The brother of a man shot to death in his own apartment in Dallas won an award for his public embrace of ex-police officer White Devil Whore after her conviction in the killing. So they mention her. But they say the brother of a man shot to death in his own apartment in Dallas. Huh? Think about the wording. The brother of a man. We all know the case. So say if this. Tell me if this describes the case. The brother of a man shot to death in his own apartment in Dallas. And there should have been a comma there, but it wasn't. Won an award for his public embrace of the murdering whore after her conviction in the killing. Can somebody say vague and ambiguous? A law enforcement institute on Tuesday. Well, they're being. I mean, who? What law? What? A law enforcement institute. We're going to have to look it up because you guys know I don't read anything in advance, so I don't ever know what these are going to say, and so I've been known to abandon articles mid-article. We'll just read a little bit more and see, but you see they're continuing with that same thing. A law enforcement institute on Tuesday honored the brother and psychotic something of Botham Jean, a Dallas man shot to death in his own apartment in 2018 for his public embrace of the murdering whore convicted in the killing. A Texas-based Institute for Law Enforcement Administration bestowed its 2019 Ethical Courage Award on 18-year-old and psychotic buck Brant Jean for his October 2nd psychotic courtroom hug of disgraced, murdering, and unapologetic whore, and I don't need to say her name. I'm honored to accept it on behalf of my brother, Botham Jean, who was an example of ethical leadership, this jerk said, an institute gathering in Plano, Texas. When this jerk hugged this murdering whore at her sentencing, it set off a fierce debate about the appropriateness of forgiveness in police brutality cases. And on Tuesday, Jean admitted he has had second thoughts about his actions that day. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Quote, I never intended for the statement I made to the person that murdered my brother to receive such international recognition. Yes, you did. You knew you were going to be on international television before you got there and testified. To be honest, I struggled with it for a long time, as I struggled with accepting this award from this agency. But you went your bitch ass anyway, because you soft, homie. He added, my brother was well aware of the danger posed to young black men by police. I don't know how to really take that. But he's not writing it. They're quoting him, but they're selecting its placement. So, again, devil's all. Botham was in his home the night of 6th September 2018 when this murdering white devil whore that claimed she mistakenly entered his apartment. We already know, okay, she drew her weapon and I'm over it. At sentencing, okay, fine. The embrace was hailed by some as a healing after greatness. That was only by psychotic Christians and white people. That's it. Others wondered publicly if Jean's expression of forgiveness might obscure the crime committed. Former NAACP President Cornell William Brooks tweeted at the time that he has preached forgiveness for 25 years, but using the willingness of black people to forgive as an excuse to further victimize black people is sinful. America should ask black people forgiveness for serially asking. America should ask black people forgiveness for serially asking African Americans to forgive sanctioned public police brutality. On Tuesday, this psycho said his embrace of the murdering whore had been as much for his benefit as for hers. I am grateful for this award for the same reason I was grateful for the opportunity to embrace the murdering whore after she was convicted of murder in her trial. After being found guilty, again, in her trial, he can't even say the murder of my brother, you see, because that'd be a contradiction of the spirit. And he'd have to realize he's a dumbass Christian, you see, and that he's been, you see, I'll read it again. This is a quote they're saying. I was grateful for the award and blah, blah, blah. I'm grateful for the opportunity to embrace the murdering whore after she was convicted of murder in her trial. Like it was just over there. It had nothing to do with our family. That was in her trial, and I got a chance to hug her, you see. Because how you going to say that out your face? I'm so glad I was able to hug the murderer of my brother. Because that's the only other option. After being found guilty by a jury of her peers, sentenced under the law, this murdering whore needed to be forgiven. Well, you're not the one to do it. And I needed to be free from the burden of unforgiveness. I don't need to read all this. I'm not going to do it. He also urged all law enforcement officers in the room think twice before taking deadly action. Oh, they'll certainly take you up on that, Brant. I want you all to know that I am not a threat, that young black males are not inherently... I can't read this. I'm over it. We're over it. Go read it yourself. I'm over it. I don't need to hear anything he's had to say. I'm done. Oh my God. Anyways, I just need to address it just so that I could say that I was aware of it and now I've done it and I'm over it. You know, I don't need to get into this psycho stuff, everybody. I don't need to. I don't need to. I'm a sane human being. And, you know, stuff like this, you have to deliberately go against the natural inclination of your heart. You know, you have to make it up. And anytime you make something up, it's not pure. And if it's not pure, it's by default, it's not divine. You see? So it's just some bullshit. It just is. It just is. Damn it. So we're over him. And blessed be the day when he leaves the damn earth. With all his forgiveness. Because that's the type of stuff that has and it continues to hold us back. You understand? We don't have time for that. We don't have time. We don't have time. Meanwhile, our main topic, when we get into that, I'll just contrast it against this right now. We don't see this fat bastard asking for forgiveness from African people. Not that we need him to ask. You understand? But it's a different thing, and that nobody's saying to him, you know, all this righteous nonsense and all this forgiveness and healing bullshit. They only want that when it comes to us. We're supposed to forgive. We're supposed to do. It's always us. I don't do that in my life. You understand? That's why I don't talk to 90% of my family that still exists on the earth, because I don't do the work anymore. If you don't know my intentions by now, and if you can't get your act together, then you're a waste of my life and yours. But you're not gonna drag my wing. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. You understand? I don't have time for you. I'll get more into that. I want to get these other issues in that I want to talk about before we get into the main event, everybody. I also want to say this because I've spoken, certainly even as recently as when we talked about the Malik Yoba thing and the various incarnations with that have come up, and you know, the ongoing with all of this alphabet stuff. Finally, there was there's a person by the name of Flame Monroe. I didn't link the video, but you can know, all y'all know the Breakfast Club, so I'm sure you don't have no problem finding the Breakfast Club. Just go and put in Flame Monroe on the Breakfast Club, because this person is a alphabet person. It's a dude, but you know, again, I'm not gonna run myself crazy with all this identification nonsense, and that's what I liked about him, because he was straightforward. Even though he's sitting up there with full breasts and a deep voice, but he's looking like a woman, but he has no desire to remove his penis. So whatever that is, he has teenage kids. It gets into an area. I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, I appreciate what he had to say, and that's why I'm having you to go and watch him, because he was saying exactly the same thing I was saying, and with damn near the same passion. Like he's over it. All these labels and pronouns and self-identifying. And he says, he goes, at the end of the day, and you've heard me say it, I've yelled into the camera, at the end of the day, all we got on the damn menu is penis and vagina. Which one do you want? You've heard me say that. So he says the same thing. That's all that's on the menu. So like, which one, you one of those? You know, and he said that, I also appreciate it because you guys know how strongly I feel about our women. And I love that he said that these transgender women are a disrespect to women everywhere. He was even saying, he goes, I'm a part of the black community, I'm part of the LGBT community, and on behalf of the LGBT community, I want to apologize to all women everywhere, of all ages, because he said this is an affront really against women. It really is, because he goes, because at the end of the day, we ain't got no period, we can't push out no baby, and he gets a little more graphic about and detailed about knowledge that he has about, you know, people that have reassignment surgery and all that. So he's definitely worth watching, but he validates what again comes out of your soul. You just know it already. That nah, you're not a woman. And all this self-identifying, I told you I self-identify as Oprah. I self-identify as Oprah. I do. You know what I mean? I self-identify. I'm self-identifying. You know what I'm saying? As Oprah. You know what I'm saying? At least until I get the cease and desist letter. Feel me? Which I'm sure would be coming if I push the issue that I'm self-identifying as Oprah. You understand? So he is of value because he is saying like, nah, we're something else. We are something different. We're not women. We're not. We're not. And it's obvious to me that he also has a lot of great, he shares my high respect for women, you know, as well. So he was an interesting watch, you know. I'm glad I clicked on it. I'm glad I clicked on it because I didn't know who he was, and apparently the only reason why I would know who he is now is because, and why he would even be on the Breakfast Club is because I guess he and Tiffany Haddish met back when she wasn't famous. And she told him, you know, if I blow up, I'll come back and get you, you know. And so she's done some things, and they work together now, and so this is why he's whoever, you know. But yeah, so let us be over this, you know, because this is again another affront, another attack upon the black community, because they're trying to take something that's anti-African, that's always been, because they're not able to push it over on the African nations. I brought you guys pieces of African leaders who they've had their white media people go to and try and bring this LBGT stuff to them, and they're just like, they're not having it, you know. And it's no disrespect to their any of their population who may be gay or lesbian. They're just saying, we're not doing nothing special. We're not highlighting that. We're not glamorizing and glorifying that in our society. We just don't. They're citizens of our society, and so they enjoy the rights of everybody else. Done. You see. And so he was just a breath of fresh air. Just a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. You understand? And he was even calling out the Caitlyn Jenner person. He was like, that's not Woman of the Year. That was an insult to women everywhere. She's not a woman. You know, so just have her be Transgender Woman of the Year. You know, like a separate thing, you know. And I don't know if it was in the Breakfast Club thing or not. This next part I'm going to say, because I started watching other stuff on him. And he was saying, because I have watched news reports about these transgenders who are participating in girl sports at the high school and college level, and they're just beating the hell out of them. And the girls are really frustrated. Like, as soon as we see them show up, we know we're now competing for second place because they're still men. They still have testosterone. They still have, you know, like they just, like they're not female. And he was saying they should have their own damn thing, just like the Special Olympics and everybody else. Then you have your own special stuff for them to compete against each other. Like, you don't put biologically men, I don't care what you self-identifying is and how many doctors have cut on you. What Allah breathed into you, that's all you're ever going to be, period, the end. In the eyes of the one that creates. The only one who creates. You understand? The only one who creates. Nobody else creates. And let us all stop using the word, everybody. You may assemble something, or put something together, or you may build, or but there's no creating. You understand? There's only one creator. There's only one creator. When the angel Jibreel comes to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Ikra bismi rabbika ladhi khalaqo." Repeat or recite Ikra in the name of your Lord who creates. You see? So, anyways, you definitely want to check out this Flame Monroe person, because that really was a breath of fresh air for me. Because here is a person who is that, and he's still, his head was on right. You know, to say, nah, you know, and put brakes on it. I also wanted to say this. Again, random, y'all, but I just want to share it with you because I thought about it. There's going to be a lot of kufi pulling, y'all. A lot of kufi pulling going on. So just, that's what we're doing. Kufi pulling. The issue of background checks came to me. You guys know I'm always, anytime I speak, I always give metaphors. I give parables. And, you know, I've always been that way in my life. Just that's how I speak. That's how I communicate and bring points across. I always have. And I think that's one reason I'm so good at law. Maybe that's another issue. I just thought I had that thought. Anyway. And so I've said to you in the past that, and I've even kind of said something to that, alluding to this even since I've been speaking just now, that, you know, white people are the same, and that, but I've said to you, they always want to hold us to our past. You know, as soon as they shoot down one of us in the street, murder one of us in the street in cold blood, they immediately start trying to victimize us and see, well, the boy, he had weed and he had this, and look what he did this when he was 8 years old, you know, and all this. Even with Obama, you saw that they tried to tie him to this Bill Ayers and the Weather Underground bombing that happened when Obama was 8 years old. You see? So they always want to go back and hold everybody else, and I've been consistent to say we don't take them for like just they pop up now and grin in our face. This is still the enemy of our people from 1619. Nothing has changed, and that got me to thinking about background checks. You know, so that everything is a background check now. You know, oh, I was watching something on housing, and something they mentioned about background checks, and I was just like furious again that that exists for housing, because I just, in that moment I just went to, there's a lot of people that are out on the street because they can't pass a background check, and so this background check thing I was contemplating in this context, so that, and it reflects what I just said to you a minute ago about all of their holding everybody else's past in front of them. So that's why I say we always hold their stuff in front of them. No, you're not moving past anybody else's past. We definitely not moving past yours. Definitely not. Definitely not. You don't pass the background check with me. I don't care when I see you or how old you are. You understand? If you're a part of that group with that skin, then you don't pass a background check with the Jedi. I'm sorry. You just don't. 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 So, we need to, I thought it would be interesting to share that. You know, they're the ones that made that up. And this whole background check stuff is just another way to deny African people. It's a more modern, updated version of redlining and discrimination, you know, a background check, you know. Meanwhile, they make sure they're out there giving you a negative background when you're 5 and they're stopping you on your bicycle, or they're coming to your school to put you in handcuffs when you're 4 years old, and all of this. You see what I'm saying? So don't give me background checks. You understand? So what's good for the goose is always good for the gander, and it will be as long as I live in this damn asshole of the devil. And as it relates to these people. You understand? Tit for goddammit tat. Okay, I asked you guys, where's Dexter King? And I want to expound on that a little bit more, because just as I have in the past, just to say that I mention him because, you know, this speech that you're going to go and watch by Dr. King, The Other America, you know, I saw Dr. King. This is why you got to see more and more stuff on him, dude, because, you know, Dr. King was only in his 30s, and I don't know how old he is when he's giving this particular speech, but he's a handsome man. But you see, just look how he's standing there at the podium. You know, when you see it, look how he's standing, and at one point, I don't know. Remember, he was under threat of death at all times. So you make your own evaluation. But I'm just saying, you get a chance to. You're hearing something you haven't heard, and that you don't normally see of him, and you get a chance to see him physically, I believe, in a way and in an environment that you really don't normally see. These are those abstract, you know, just see it. But I say, where is Dexter King, the one that looks just like him? I say this is definitely a construct and something conspired by white people. Because why are we saying everybody else except for Dexter, who looks exactly like him? I think there's a reason for that, y'all. That's why I'm obsessed with it. There's a reason. Either he's not on board with these sellout-ass Christian siblings of his and their psychoticry, or either they are paying him to stay out of the public light and speaking and all that kind of stuff because he looks so much like his father, and what that will do, it may have a positive influence on African people, but be something negative for white people. I'm still working on my theory, but trust me, it goes back to a white hand. There's no question about that. But where's Dexter King? Where is he? Where is Dexter that looks just like his father and sounds like him? I can't. This is insult to injury, everybody, and why I believe I'm calling this video George Zimmerman is a racial terrorist is because that's what he is. And I'm going to try to weave that now. Talk about him, that he is just one pimple of an acne-infested face. That, and to weave that into trying to answer the question of what is America? What is America? What is America? What is it? What is it? So, fat ass sues Trayvon Martin's parents and others for more than $100 million. I want to stop and say this right at the top for my people. Bringing a lawsuit is not the same thing as prevailing in a lawsuit. Anybody can go out and file suing papers on anybody on earth right now. You can go out and file papers to sue Oprah. You could do that. I'm not being ridiculous. You could do that. But I know that a lot of my people will not know. They will think that he has done this and that now the family has to pay $100 million. No. You just bring in action. You see, thankfully, they are internationally known, so they probably don't have to show up in a court, depending on whether or not a court actually allows this to go forward or not. Just because you file a lawsuit doesn't mean that a judge is going to allow it to be heard in a court. You know, there's many ways, especially something high profile like this, and white people bend the rules all the time when it comes to the law. So if this sees the inside of a courtroom, I don't see his parents having to show up and give him the satisfaction of Trayvon Martin's parents having to actually show up in a damn court. Because if they did, they should come with fucking guns blazing then. Because how dare you? You're not going to take my child and then try and make a mockery out of me? Nah, you're not doing that. You know, and it's time for African people to understand that all this nonviolence and peace bullshit, that all has its place, even in the eyes of the divine. You understand? But there is a time when you are righteously inclined and indeed have a duty to physically defend. That's what's real. That's what their Second Amendment is about. You understand? I've read the language of that amendment. You understand? You have a duty to arm yourself. A duty. Let them tell it. You see? Of course, when they were writing it, they weren't thinking about us. Except for them shooting us. You see? That's why I have a video here on the channel called No Guns for Negroes. No Guns for Negroes. You see? That's why it's an unwritten rule, but they all know it. That's why you never have gun control in this country. You won't have it. Because the shooters are white. They don't care who the victims are. The shooters are white. So, no gun control. The moment the shooters are black or even look like they could be black, the rules will change overnight. I cite for you. You'll recall that the Black Panther out in California, as they were developing and coming into their fruition, one of the things they learned was the Second Amendment. They was like, brothers, we got the right to carry arms. And as soon as they did that, that was a problem. Then they marched into the Capitol. Reagan was something that he wasn't the governor. Maybe he might have been governor. I can't remember. Anyways, but they marched in there open carrying. They changed the law overnight. You understand? Don't give me gun control. You see? Don't give me gun control. It's just that they want to feel like that's why this is the only people on earth. Like you have the candidates running around the earth, the presidential candidates running around the earth saying now that they don't want to take private insurance from people that they're paying through their ass for because people want to choose. The only people they're speaking for is white people. Anybody else is seeing it as like, nah, what, I don't have to pay for my insurance now? Yeah, give me my shit. But they would pay through the nose just so they can feel like they're choosing. I can't. Anyways, so no gun control, you understand, because the people that are responsible for the gun violence are white people, so there's no need for gun control in their mind, you know. The NRA is silent and all that, but let the shooter start being black. Suddenly, and miraculously, and with the immediate effect, you would have gun control. So the fat ass has brought this action. The other thing I wanted to say about it too is that the sad part about it is that if a judge allows this to go forward and be heard in a court, then somebody's going to have to show up. You know, the lawyer at the very least would have to show up, because if you don't show up at all, then he gets a default judgment. But this goes back to, he shouldn't still be breathing now. This is the fault of African people. Black men, specifically, and only. Because if we haven't woken up and understand we're in a state of war, that this murder of Trayvon Martin was an act of war by a white person upon an African, and that we have allowed him to be traversing from state to state, and he's making headlines since the murder and everything, and nobody's out looking for him to honor his mother, to honor Trayvon's mother, and to give her some peace. No one did that. So we take responsibility for this. This is our fault. This is our fault that their family has to even, that this has to even be a headline. You understand me? And of course, some white lawyer took the case. You see. So there's not just one Zimmerman. He's not alone in his psychotic world. You see, he's got a whole population of them that are just like him, including the jurors who were calling him Georgie, and were readily willing to turn Trayvon into the attacker, even though he was just an innocent kid who just quickly ran to the store for some snacks and was trying to get back in the rain at night. And the dispatcher already told him to stay his fat ass in the car. Don't tell me anything about these people. Don't do that. Don't attempt to do that. Don't. You understand? Because you just make it bad for your own self. That's our love for self. Fat ass was acquitted in the 2012 murder of the young prince, Trayvon Martin. But according to a lawsuit filed Wednesday in Florida, he believes there was a conspiracy to frame him and wants more than $100 million in damages. First of all, you might actually have a case had your fat ass served any time, but you didn't. Fat ass. So any imagined conspiracy against self would obviously have not materialized and was not successful in its alleged pursuit, because it testified by the fact that your fat ass is out free and wreaking stress upon all humanity. Therefore, there's no validity for the very foundation of your suit. So I don't even know why the damn lawyer is even agreeing to bring this case. Because that's we'll read it again. But according to the lawsuit, he believes there was a conspiracy to frame him and wants more than $100 million in damages. You didn't have any damages. You weren't incarcerated. You didn't serve no time. You see? Attorney and White Devil, right along with him, Larry Klayman, announced the lawsuit in tandem with a Coral Gables screening of a documentary titled The Trayvon Hoax, which has since been canceled. Fat Ass was scheduled to appear alongside this other White Devil, the attorney. So you got Fat Ass and White Devil at a Thursday news conference, but hours later, the White Devil said the news conference was canceled too. Maybe they're getting cold feet, based on what I already cited legally for you in my opening on this piece. The chief allegation in the lawsuit is that civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump helped to swap out a reluctant witness, Brittany Diamond Eugene, for her half-sister Rachel Gentile, and helped prepare her to deliver a script intended to land Zimmerman in prison for the 17-year-old's murder on 26 February 2012. I want you guys to know, remind you that my niece, the prince's oldest baby sister, she'll be 11 this February. Her birthday is the 26th February, day after you boys. You guys remember that Rachel Gentile was our sister that got there and couldn't really speak that well. So this also falls flat on their side too, because she wasn't even an articulate witness. And he's saying that Ben helped to swap her out and prepare her to deliver a script intended to land Zimmerman in prison for. But she wasn't even. I mean, she was a disaster. She just was. God bless her. She was just a disaster. So that has no merit. All right. Crump began representing Trayvon's parents starting 28 February 2012, the lawsuit says. Okay, well, you had just killed Trayvon 2 days before. The suit accuses Trayvon's parents, prosecutors, and state authorities of going along with the alleged ruse and, quote, are alleged to either have known about or should have known about the witness fraud, obstructed justice, or lied repeatedly under oath in order to cover up their knowledge of the witness fraud, a news release from the White Devil said. Just a second. I love this because what did you say? They knew or should have known. Well, your fat ass knew or should have known you don't get out of a damn car and chase and stalk this kid. Your fat ass knew or should have known that you were armed and he wasn't. You were the aggressor. You were the stalker. You're the one that needs to be fucking murdered in your sleep right now. So don't give me this knew or should have known now. You see? But again, this is also illustrative of the double white standard, everybody, from individuals and group. It doesn't matter. That double standard. He can't even, out of his whiteness, he doesn't even see the hypocrisy. You understand? Neither one of him or the attorney. They're both white. So they can't even see it. They can't see it. And if they do, they still articulate it. They're right even when they're wrong. They're not hypocritical, but everybody else is. You see? The White Devil, who founded the conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch, has filed several lawsuits in the past, including a birther lawsuit that falsely claimed former President Obama couldn't be president because he wasn't a natural-born citizen. Again, white hypocrisy. Meanwhile, your ass has no claim to this land. You're from Ireland and Poland and all the other nonsense. You have no claim to this land. But they claim this is their country now, that they took by murder and genocide, and then built it on the backs and blood and dying and death of Africans. They're the biggest welfare case that ever existed on the planet Earth. Stop the video when I lie. According to the fat ass's lawsuit, Gentile, the sister, posed as Trayvon's girlfriend when it was Eugene who was dating Trayvon and on the phone with him during the encounter with Zimmerman, a former neighborhood watch captain. And was on the phone with him during the encounter with this fat ass. Gentile then delivered bogus testimony on the stand at the fat ass's trial. The lawsuit alleges, the alleged conspirators went along with the plot. Despite Gentile being 2 years older, 5 inches taller, and about 125 pounds heavier than Eugene, the lawsuit says. The plan was made final in a 3-minute phone call between Crump and Eugene on 31st March 2012, the lawsuit says. Listen, I don't give a damn what he's going to say if he wants to say that they pulled Lucky Charms out of their ass. Your ass got out. You were looking for, we know based on his previous calls on black people in that area, he was looking for something. He finally found this young, unarmed prince at night in the dark and afraid of his life, and he murdered him. And for white people at large, this was their revenge because they thought we had gained something after OJ was found not guilty. Because, remember, the Rodney King thing, they felt victorious. They moved the trial and everything so they could do their white evil. You see? And acquit all the damn police officers. They were just all acquitted. So, since they're the ones keeping up this damn us-them competition, we're not even interested. That's one of the reasons why they were so infuriated over OJ, because they felt like the jury was getting back at them for them, all of them, for the Rodney King verdict. So this now was their revenge. They know what I'm saying is the damn truth. Period. They know it. Because they were too sick-minded to see that we don't write any laws in this damn nation. Certainly not out where the trial was held in California. And there was no other conclusion for any jury to come to in the OJ case. Period. But in their mind, they didn't hear any of that. They only saw this picture of this white bitch who had been in some kind of domestic issue with him back when they had been married, long before she was ever murdered. And that equaled murder many years later when they did live together and had other partners and everything else. You see? And it didn't matter if this was a murder trial and not a domestic violence case. Again, in their minds, that's all thrown out because they have to be right even when they're wrong. So domestic violence can just become murder because they say so. You have to keep that in mind, everybody. You see? So that's what that was also at play in this whole Trayvon Martin case. They wanted revenge now for OJ. Because I've been telling you for years. I go, just ask any of them. They still mad at OJ. They act like they were standing there when he did it, just to a person. That absolutely is true. And if it wasn't, there would have been a split screen on the day of the damn verdict. You see? It's just we have social media and all that stuff then, for you to really see how united they are in their twisted evil. You understand? They lockstep on most things. Even this impeachment thing. You don't have nobody on the Republican side trying to make this impeachment go to where he gets removed from office. I say, if you voted for this dude, you are that. You're a misogynist, you're a racist, you're a xenophobe, and all the other list of stuff they'd say. You are that if you voted for him, period, at the end. And we're not going to do this dance. Well, I voted for the economy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because let the truth be told, my landlords, who are white Republicans, God love them. But, yeah, chapter 13. How's Trump working out for you? Because it's all about the economy. It's all about the economy, everybody. It's about the economy. You see. Gentile, a key prosecution witness, testified Trayvon told her in the phone call that someone was following him. As Trayvon neared the home of his father's girlfriend, he tried to lose the fat ass, she testified. Gentile said she heard him talking to the fat ass in the background. Quote, he said, "Why are you following me?" And I heard a hard-breathing man say, "What you doing around here?" Gentile said. Gentile testified she heard a bump from Trayvon's headset hitting something and wet grass sounds. I started hearing a little bit of Trayvon saying, get off," said Gentile. She admitted on the stand to lying several times to Trayvon's family about her age and about her reasons for not attending Trayvon's funeral. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? What I just already told you. They want to bring up your past. Whether or not she lied to his parents about her age, what teenagers don't do that or haven't done that? I mean, that's going to be a high number. Even if they wouldn't lie to somebody's parents, they lied to get in someplace with something. Or they wanted to buy beer, or they wanted to buy cigarettes or something. Like, give me a break. But it only becomes a crime when non-white people do it. Certainly Africans. You see, you're allowed to have a natural childhood and make all the mistakes as long as you're white. You see, anything else is criminal. Anyone else, I should say, is criminal. You see, they can burn down the entire city after their sports team loses. And it's just kids blowing off steam. We tear up and burn down fucking CVS because you've murdered yet another one of us. And we are violent and we are militant and we're everything else. We're not just blowing off steam. And we're not justified in our anger at all. Don't tell me shit about these people. Don't attempt to do that. Don't attempt. You understand? Because I'm an authority. Gentile found herself under the unforgiving, interesting use of words, found herself under the unforgiving light of a national televised trial. And isn't it interesting that they would use that word and that he's coming after them and showing no forgiveness. Meanwhile, they're celebrating Botham John's brother for hugging this murdering whore. Stop me when you don't see the white supremacy in all of this. She found herself under the unforgiving light of a nationally televised trial. Viewers criticized her for her dress, her weight and speech, and her combative manner on the stand. Well, that was white people. Of course, we was going to drag her for a few things and, have some snickles to be made just because she was a total disaster in so many ways. But that's ours, though. You see? And it was coming from a different place than theirs. Unfounded and reckless. Okay, Crump and Trayvon's parents, Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton, denied the allegations. Quote, I have every confidence that this unfounded and reckless lawsuit will be revealed for what it is, another failed attempt to defend the indefensible and a shameless attempt to profit off the lives and griefs of others, Crump said in a statement issued on his and Trayvon's parents' behalf. This plaintiff continues to display a callous disregard for everyone but himself, re-victimizing individuals whose lives were shattered by his own misguided actions. He would have us believe that he is the innocent victim of a deep conspiracy, despite the complete lack of any credible evidence to support his outlandish claims, the statement said. And I would just say, the moment that judges can do stuff. The Bar Association can do things. Somebody who isn't white could have intervened on this and said, nah, this is improper use of the legal system. It goes against its principles and indeed its intent, indeed and language, and this lawsuit is not permissible in the context of a free society, and civil rights would not be protected here, nor the desire to seek any damages, because this, under its unique circumstances, is seen as a further act of terrorism against the people named in the damn suit. Period. Any lawyer out there that wants to use the language that I just created for you, you can do that. I'm fine with that. You understand? Righteousness is my end, not accolade. This is an act of terrorism, everybody, and we should see it as nothing less than that. And you know what America does when they have a terrorist? They're on a watch list. Hear me. They're on a watch list. You see? And they strike on sight. That's how they deal with terrorists. We've seen this. CNN is reaching out to others accused in the lawsuit. Gentile did not immediately return a voicemail and text message seeking comment. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement declined to comment, and so did Attorney General Ashley Mood through a spokeswoman. You see, white collusion, they're circling the wagons. This is an outrageous act, but none of them will say it. But if Trayvon had been a white kid and this fat ass was a black man doing this same thing, they would be outraged. There would be death threats. There would be everything. You understand? We just need to get off our ass, everybody. You understand? When in Rome, do what the Romans do. Don't let them do one thing and tell you need to do something else. Nah. So they just named a whole barrage of people. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement declined to comment. You see what I'm saying? Silence is complicity. It just is. It just is. It just is. And declined to comment, and so did Attorney General Ashley Mood. The lawsuit alleges malicious prosecution, abuse of process, civil conspiracy, and defamation. Well, you could have had a rebuttal to that could have been included in your defense at the time of this trial, and you didn't. So I would even argue that a judge could just come through and say, well, the case has already been adjudicated. You didn't bring that evidence at the time of the trial, so therefore we can't just have a whole other trial now for you to bring this in. That trial has already been adjudicated. we're done with that. And your fat ass was not put in jail. You should be grateful and just take your fat ass in place and eat more. You see? It seeks compensatory and actual damages of more than $100 million and leaves open the possibility of an additional claim for punitive damages. Listen, this is the other thing my people need to know. Now that a lawsuit has been filed, that means his his information should be public now. And you're entitled to it. You're entitled to it. So if this is taking place in Florida, if you live in Florida, you're entitled to know his name, address, and phone number, and any information that's in this lawsuit. We can know it right now. We can know it right now. You understand? A month after the February 2012 murder, Stanford Police Chief Bill Lee said the fat ass was not charged because there were no grounds to disprove his version of the events. So he was never even charged. Fat ass said he murdered Trayvon in self-defense. Weeks later, amid widespread outrage, a special prosecutor charged the fat ass with murder. A jury of whites acquitted him for of all charges in July of 2013. The fat ass has been arrested in several alleged domestic incidents, but not charged. Now they mention his stuff. That would have been the leading thing had he been African, you see. Now all of that, now they say fat ass's legal issues. The fat ass has been arrested in several alleged domestic incidents, but not charged. In November 2013, he was arrested on aggravated assault and misdemeanor counts of domestic violence, battery, and criminal mischief accusations. But prosecutors said they won't press charges after his girlfriend said she wanted the case dropped. The fat ass was arrested in January of 2015 on the suspected aggravated assault of another girlfriend. Prosecutors didn't press charges after the alleged victim backed off her claims. Really, because somewhere I read that victims weren't trying to bring anything against R. Kelly. Somewhere I read that they was on TV defending him. But they went on after him anyway. Somewhere I read that they didn't have nobody that could testify negatively against Michael Jackson. But there was a whole trial that went on. You know, it was the trial of the century and all this and the third, you see. Don't tell me about these people. Don't tell me. Because I make no distinction between all the organizations that they're naming and this fat ass and his attorney. They're all one. I don't care if you're going to give me a rattler, a snake, a rattler, a cobra, or a garden. They all snakes. A year later, the fat ass put the gun that murdered Trayvon up for auction. Listen, like I say, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. You understand what I'm saying? We should have been willing to do whatever needed to be done. Like you're not gonna just wave this in our face like this, and that's gonna be cool. Nah. But they would have come up with some charge for anybody black that would have done this to anybody. This is stalking. This is terroristic behavior. OJ goes to get his own stuff, to claim his own property, and he gets and they use that to exact their revenge that they wanted on him to begin with. Don't tell me shit about these people. Don't. The impact of Trayvon's death. Okay, fine. But you see, so I don't need to read that. But I do need to mention this because there it is. Trayvon's. Okay, I'll read this. All right. Trayvon's death inspired President Obama to deliver a heartfelt heartfelt message to saying, quote, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And you remember that white people were outraged about that. What the fuck else would he look like? Trayvon Martin was a wildly handsome young prince. Why wouldn't he be? His parents are both models. President Obama is a model. Trayvon was tall. Barack is tall. I mean, he's a black kid. What else would he look like? So it wouldn't just look like Obama. He would have looked like Obama. You see, I'm over it, dude. I'm over it. I'm over it. But you see, their heads rolled off when he said that. Because for them, as you see in anything that we get on them, there's collusion. They are in cahoots. You see, their problem with Obama at that time was that some of them were in this real fantasy. Well, he's biracial. He's like as if he's going to give birth to some white kid, or I guess in their white minds. I don't know. I don't really know how to diagnose psychotic minds. You understand what I'm telling you? I'm doing the best I can. But that's one that they, and then you have some, but I think, and this number is larger, that were outraged at how dare he specifically identify intimately with another African person. You know, how dare you? That's what it was about. You know, you could cry about the Sandy Hook thing all day, but don't show empathy for Trayvon Martin. Because we've determined that he's not an innocent kid. And we don't really like you, a black male, being president anyway. We showed that by forming the Tea Party 2 seconds after it was announced you were going to be elected. And we certainly wanted our country back. And, you know, hate crimes shot up off the charts 1,000%. And gun sales went through the roof, all by white people. They don't have a leg to stand on. You understand? You understand me? They don't have a leg to stand on with me at all. At all. At all. And I didn't make it that way. And I'm absolutely entitled to exercise my own reaction to anything. You understand? They want to do you wrong and then tell you how you're supposed to how you're supposed to respond to that. Nah, that shit stops right here at the gate, homie. Right here at the gate. Take that down the street to somebody that's not manning their ship. So, you know, and there's countries where this dude would just be murdered on sight. You understand me? By like a sniper's rifle or something. But he should definitely be dealt with. And I don't see any reason why their system can't create something out of air like they certainly would for us if he was one of us. And there should just be something that just comes out of midair and say, nah, this is an act of terrorism. Its intent is clearly specious. It has nothing to do with personal damages because there weren't any. That this is just a specious act of terrorism by a psychotic fat bitch who wants money and attention. And as African people, we should not fucking stand for this. Nah. Nah. I'm over it. But Jedi, how does this define for us? What is America? Well, I'm glad you asked me that. Because one of my running themes through my work and how I think in my life is that this environment is not real. It's not real. It's not real. This is not a real human existence of living out your arc of life from birth to death. This is not it. So, indeed, I've also said this is the headquarters of evil, the throne of the devil, the incubator of sin, all of it. This is it right here, capital. And so, all of these things, including this, define what America is. It's a place forged, heisted, really, out of the genocide of native people that were here on the land. And we could get into whether or not those were Africans and ha ha ha. But we know they weren't white. Forged out of the genocide of these people from coast to coast. And then built, heisted I should say, from these people. And then built on the blood, backs, and deaths of African slaves. That it is today, and always has been, a place devoid of holiness. How dare they print God Bless America or In God We Trust on their money? Because there's no trust in God. Everything in their society is indeed designed to be anti-God, anti the Creator, anti the divine. It is a place without compassion, but loves to proclaim that it is, strewn with millions of homeless people, many of whom had no other crime in life other than they just couldn't pay their damn bills. Chief among them, their rent. It is a place full of greed and usury. Capitalism is the word they love to use. It's a fancy $50 word, but what does that really mean? Capitalism. Why does anybody need to capitalize? And so if you're capitalizing, that means you are setting up dominance over something or someone else, or taking advantage of someone or something else. You're capitalizing. It's like monetizing. You see? I'm going to capitalize this. I will capitalize your life. I will capitalize my system over you. I will capitalize, monetize, you see. It's like finding resource in something or deciding to benefit from that, you know. Like they tell you, you know, we created our brand and we just wanted to figure out how we could just monetize our brand, you see. Monetize. Make it money. Capitalize. Capitalize. It's almost an ism, really. It's almost a religion. It could almost be in the isms. In fact, it is capitalism. So, but in the word I'm using is capitalize, but we'll add capitalism because they're joined at the hip. But I'm trying to express to you that the very intention of what they describe their society to be is set up on being over or victimizing someone else. Someone taking advantage of somebody else's situation. Capitalize. Capitalize is a place obsessed with writing wonderful things about itself and portraying good things about itself that simply just aren't true. Just aren't true. Like, it's the greatest place, it's the greatest country on earth. Not. It's not the greatest country on earth. It's not the greatest place to live on earth. It's just not. Because says who? Says who? But even more sadly to that point is how many people walk around proclaiming that who don't even have a visa or a passport. Haven't been anywhere, but have proclaimed this is the best place, the greatest country. This is the greatest country. We hadn't been in any country other than this. You see, so complete is their brainwashing and forcing of their will upon everybody else, that they have you proclaiming things and owning it as something that's factual, and you hadn't even vetted it for yourself. You see, it is a place that stews in racism and is indeed built upon racism and hate and murder and capitalizing and minimizing the lives of all who are not white. You know, when you go back to the earliest readings and definings of this country, America was founded. That's an incidental word after genocide and murder. You're supposed to leave that part out. Founded sounds like you know, it's very noble. Founded since 18. This founded, a very, very noble word, very noble. But it was founded, just this cheap word, as a white Christian nation. And that propaganda still echoes off of the pablum puking tongues of many who still describe it as that. Well, we're a Christian nation. You heard that a lot after they orchestrated the drama of 9/11, 2001. You heard everyday Joe Blow, Cindy, and Bob, anytime they get a microphone in their face, saying, well, we're a Christian nation, because they wanted everybody to be against Islam and Muslims, which translates to righteousness and way of life, you see. But so they would describe themselves and proclaim that this is a Christian nation. Therefore, these Muslim people just simply don't get it, and they just don't have a place, and we can't. And either can the oil in my skin right now. I'm over it. Anyway, it is a place obsessed with dominating the rest of the world, not just its citizens here, but dominating the rest of the world, creating a definition of the very existence of man that is not rooted in what the divine intended for all of us. That it's what they say is the very place that fulfills one of the descriptions of the end times given to mankind in the Quran and by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where Allah says to mankind that one of the many, many signs of the end hour, or that the hour is established, is that which is wicked will seem normal to them. We've seen, even just in this nation, with just this in their headquarters here, that there has been a march towards a decline of the society. Used to be women could only wear a skirt or a dress that just, you know, you could show your ankles, you see. But anything over the calves was seen as a little risque, you see. And then eventually it became the knee, nothing more than over the knee. Anything over the knee is risque, you see. Now then it was thigh high, you see, then that was okay. Again, marching you towards wickedry even more and more. Meanwhile, to this day, in 2019, Muslim women still dress exactly like the mother of Isa alayhi salam. And indeed all the women and wives of prophets and women of the day. Holy women. So then it was thigh high, then it's coochie cutter, you see. It says that men will be as women and women will be as men. We see that prophecy being lived out. I can't tell you how often I'm someplace and I see a person, and I don't know if it's a male or a female, and I'm talking about black folks. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, they will speak without talking. They will speak and communicate with each other without talking. He was foreseeing the text message. Everybody's got their head down in their phone. You know. There's no connection. And chief among all, America is a place where truth and righteousness is not allowed. Is not allowed. Even the very icon of their justice system is a white heifer blindfolded with the scales of justice. Blindfold. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. You know. I don't know what's going to happen. You see, no, and that is a white heifer. We know she's peeking out from under the blindfold. We know that. We know this. See? But why do you need to be blind? Truth is not blind. Justice is not blind. Righteousness is not blind. Indeed, it beams like it's so bright you can't look at it directly with your own eyes. No intent of righteousness. No, I can't see. I don't know what's going to happen. Where's my scales of justice? You see. It is the place that has stolen the soul of Africans and continues to rape the humanity and the dignity of Africans. To deny them their true power, knowledge of our true history, our accomplishments to mankind, our contributions, I should say, to mankind, and on and on and on, is the place where a murderer should be coddled by its victims in a court of law. A murderer should be brought caviar and should be spritzed, and they should have a fan on them, and they should have the judge come down and sing them lullabies, and Beyonce should come out of the ceiling doing Halo. You see, it is the place where the murderer can become the victim against an unarmed child. A grown, armed adult can become the victim after they stalked the child. Think, my people. Stop and think. This is what they are presenting as normal and rational. If it was a lullaby or a fable's tale in a book, we'd all be marveling at it. And you should be marveling at it. Because those amongst you who are awake, I count myself, that's the reaction from the gate. Like, is this serious? Wow. Hocus pocus. Genie in a bottle. Poof. Armed, premeditated murderer becomes the victim. And now can come back and harass the family, most importantly the mother, the giver of life, can now come back and harass and seek damages. Whether successful or not, just the idea is already worthy of death. Just the idea, the gall of it. The gall. And I would also question the timing on this, everybody, because, you know, the way the courts move and things happen, and Trayvon was murdered in February. I could see this now being a headline today, and then all of a sudden it starts to sort of really brew up come this February. So while we would be remembering and mourning the murder of this young prince, it will now be stage left and front and center, quite frankly, for this. Because your white media, who all agree, they have no problem with it because they're wicked and white, they will now take a posture of they're just reporting the story. Well, the story don't get reported if you don't report it. How about that? How about just not reporting it? There's many other stories you could do. Go do that. You see. Because what they're all united on in America, what America defined, it means white. So what America is united on is the oppression and disrespect of African people. They're united on that. They don't have to talk about it. They don't have to get together in groups. It's a knowing. It's a knowing. It's a knowing. It's a knowing that's already in place. You see. America is a place that is stepping over itself to prepare itself, or to try to not have to acknowledge a very non-white future. So it's all about your interracial commercials and trying to turn as many African bodies into white minds. Turn African bodies into white minds. America is the great Satan on the earth. It is the advertisement of how to decline humanity and how to degrade your society into something that is not recognizable by the divine. It is the sickest place on earth. It is the most armed place on earth. It is the most drugged out place on earth. It's the fattest place on earth, the most unhealthy place on earth. It is the bastion of unhealthy, artificial Frankenstein foods, water that you cannot drink from just a stream. It's not the shiny city on the hill, it's the shiny city on the hill. It is the world bully, the world terrorist, the world dictator. This is what America is. Don't give me America the Beautiful, you know, because that's not the truth, you know. As they say in legal language, suggest facts, not in evidence. Move to strike. So strike that definitely. America is the place that Africans should be running from. That if we are not, as a group, going to conquer, unite, and conquer and overcome, then we need to just be out of here. You understand me? But it's definitely not a place that was made for African people. It's not made for African people. Made by, but not for African people. Everything about this environment and this society is antithetical to just even physical African life. Physical African life is not properly supported here in this environment. Before you even get to everything else, just physically, your being here is not supported. What you need from the universe, the land and the soil and the air and the water and the food, just the things that you need just for your own melanated body to survive, is not supported in this environment. Not supported. America is a place that I dream and pray in my dreams and in my prayers. for its destruction, its elimination, finally, so that the rest of humanity can get about the business of just that, humanity. Because on its list of things that describe it, America is also the greatest distraction to humanity on the earth. The greatest distraction. Everybody's chasing the 9 to 5 and the upwardly mobile career and all of it. When do you have time for the divine? You don't have time. And that's by design. Well, I go to church on Sundays. Really? What are you doing Monday through Saturday? What are you doing? What are you doing? We have Bible study. Really? When else are you seeking the divine? When? Just at those times? That's it? That's the only time? Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Because America is a place where, let me see if I got this right now. Wait. Where some man died for you on a cross, okay, ridding the world of all its sin, or I'm sorry, it says here, dying for all the sins of everybody, past, present, and future, that you don't have any work to do, and that you're definitely going to heaven. Wait, carry the one. Yeah, it says you're going. It says here you're going straight to heaven. It says it right here. It says it. Until you're not, because that is all to support their godless environment, their godless intention. This is not who we are. Forget them. This ain't who we are. This is not who we are. You understand? And as I always say, I am greater than this. I am greater than this. I am greater than this. I'm greater than this. I'm greater. I'm greater. I'm greater. I'm greater. I'm greater. And alas, as Africans, we are all greater than this. One of the things that I intend to do going forward is to do videos, and maybe I don't have to take the whole video doing it, but I want to do pieces where I discuss with you my psychological preparation for my move to Ghana, West Africa, because with anything you're going to go into in life, you should mentally prepare. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're just going to do laundry, you should prepare mentally. Okay, I'm going to do laundry. What I got to do? And so, certainly, moving across the earth, I have and am doing my mental preparation as well. There's a lot that is called on me to make this happen, and I'm up for the task. I also see how my own life has prepared me for this, what a bonus and a gift that is. I just look at aspects of my own life and I'm like, wow, if that hadn't been in this, I'm just so pleased and grateful and humbled and blessed by Allah that I'm not a jaded human being, that I don't really require a lot, but one of the most important ingredients is that I live in a space of gratitude. So I'm able to be grateful at the smallest thing, and really, really be grateful about that, and not be loathing because somebody else has something I don't have, or none of that's my burden. I'm so blessed just in that. But that plays a role because, this move to Ghana, after only living in this fantasy, there can be a major contrast, between the two. But I'm ready for that. You know, I'm really ready. I'm really ready. Because listen, even growing up, you know, we moved around the country a lot. And I lived in places that I just told God, if you get me out of here, I promise you I will never even pass through this place again. Please, for the love of God, get me out of here, you know. But I thrived and survived, you know. So, and those were places I didn't have a choice, you know. Where your parents moved, that's where your ass is moving to, you know. So, here I am, grown and can make my own decision, and it's a decision for myself, you know. Just that alone is a huge difference. It's kind of like being in business, you know. You don't work the same when you own your own business as you do when you work for somebody else. You don't feel the same way about 13-hour days. 13-hour days for somebody else, you are pissed off and you wish yourself into another career or something. 13-hour days working for yourself, you just like, man, I could do 2 more, you know, like. So it's that, you know, self-exile even. I hate to use the word exile, but we'll just use that. Self-exile is certainly more different than one being put in exile, you know. I also want to say, you guys, as I pulled this up, because I said I wanted to read some of you guys, that was the latest contributors to the GoFundMe campaign. Also, don't forget to thumbs up the video, you guys. If you're this far in and you're still watching my oily, hideous face, you obviously are getting something out of the video and you're enjoying it, so you should be thumbs upping the video. You should be doing a thumbs up. Thumbs up the video. And also, don't forget to go to the link for the GoFundMe is in the description box underneath this video, you guys. I need you. We're in December now, you know, and it will be 2020 in just a few weeks, you know. And can we at least just get to the halfway mark? You know? Excuse me. Can we just get to the halfway mark for the love of God? I mean, I would love for us to have been done with the campaign already. You know? That would have been, you know, my dream. You know, that my first video of going into the new year would be to report to you that we have made it to our goal of $10,000, and thank you all so much, and etc., etc. You know? So, I need you guys, you know? I need you and only you. I've said this. And you know, and share the campaign too, everybody. Share it. I looked on there, it's still only 22 shares the last time I looked at it. 22 shares. Start telling people, look, I believe in this dude, so, and I've given such and such, so you need to, you know, just if they go on your word alone, that should be enough, you know. But, you know, also on CASHAPP, everybody, I've told you my CASHAPP is the Jedi 1814. And there's a $sign in front of it. Like, I don't know if you put the $sign in front of it or if it automatically puts it when you start typing it. You don't need to capitalize anything or anything. It's just, in case the $sign's not there, it's $sign, no spaces, $sign, the Jedi 1814. And my icon is me. I'm wearing a red shirt the day I took that picture, and I don't remember what else. All right. I'm not in Dolce & Gabbana. All right. That we know. All right, fine. And I'm hoping to get this video out to you guys on Saturday. Library's not open on Friday, so I won't be going on Friday to upload this. Like I say, maybe I'm trying to get there Saturday, y'all. If not, you're not going to get it till Monday. Damn it. If you're watching this on Monday, know that I hate myself. If you're watching it on Monday and it hasn't been uploaded since Saturday, know that I hate myself. and that I'm self-loathing. I'm just waiting for this to come up, y'all, so I can pull it. Anyway, I don't want to. I want to be clear that I'm absolutely grateful for those of you who have helped the campaign to get as far as it has thus far. I'm eternally grateful, as I've spoken in other work before, to say to you that I'm someone who speaks Arabic, Spanish, and English, and I don't find words of gratitude in either of those languages that is worthy to express how I feel and my level of gratitude. I thank you guys so much. Eternally. 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 And I would just say, for the rest of you who have not donated to the campaign, go and give what you can. That's what this has been about. People have just given what they, some could give more than others. Do what you can do, but don't do nothing at all. And I've said, literally, if you have 4 quarters, then 4 quarters is enough. Last time I checked, $1 was U.S. currency. You understand? It's our strength in numbers, everybody. It's our strength in numbers. We've had the contributions, we've not had the numbers. So, God bless those people who have overcompensated, you see. I need the rest of you guys. I need you. I need you. I need you. As I said earlier, we're not just going into a new year, we're going into a new decade. When I first established the campaign, I said it was send the Jedi to Africa in 2020. Well, I wasn't thinking at the time my nephew graduates in 2020. So I have to be here at least until he graduates in June. Alright, fine. Because I can't miss that, you know. And I'm not trying to go and come back. That's out. You see. But things are going to move very quickly after that. So I need you guys. Go and look at the campaign. Some of you haven't even visited the campaign, just even see it. You know? You need to go and look at the campaign. Look at it. See the videos that I've posted there. See the people who have donated. You understand? And then do what you can do after that. Do what you can do. I'm stalling y'all. I'm waiting for these names to come up. Because the last time I literally went through and shouted out everybody who had ever donated to the campaign. Period. Both CASHAPP and the GoFundMe as well. All right. And so this time I just shout out the people who have donated since I last did that. You know, so I don't need to do like a whole thing. You know. This is moving so slow. I guess I could pause it and then it'll be up. So let me just pause it. That'll save us some time. By the way, the total we're at now is $4,470. I was hoping we could at least get to 5,000 before the end of the year. And it's still possible. Listen, you guys, man, like, just since I announced this campaign, however many months ago it is now, I think it's 13 or 14 months, I've had far more than 10,000 views on my channel. I mean, there's been hundreds of thousands. So if just everybody given $1, we would have been done a long time ago. That's the part that just kills me dead. Even this video, I'll see probably 300-400 views on this video, and maybe 2 people gave. Well, what were the other people doing? You know? And don't give me that all them people didn't have not $1. Now you're into the realm of unreality and impossibility. You see? Man. Okay, here we go. Anonymous, $59. we'll say Sam St. Aubin, $10. Anonymous, $45. No. DeJules Suber, $10. And Anonymous, $5. I am representing those as being the donors since the last time I shouted out donors. I have to go back and watch what video and see when did I do that. But yeah, because some of these I remember shouting out. So we'll just say we'll just do in the last month. How about that? So in the last month we had Tina Arredondo, Empress de Aquibalan, mi canalita. Okay, well, it was Tina Arredondo, $100. Empress de Aquibalan, mi canalita, $20. Anonymous, $15. Evelyn Reynolds, $10. Cassandra Wright, $5. Anonymous, $59. And then Sam St. Aubin, $10. Anonymous, $45. DeJules Suber, $10. And then Anonymous, $5. All right. So go to the campaign, everybody, and give what you can. Let's just be over this. Let's just be over it. Let's be over it. Let's be over it. So that I can move to the next phase of, I don't have to keep with the fundraising. I can begin now to move into the next phase of beginning to document my process and all those things and begin us on that journey from A to Z, from A to Africa. But I've just been besieged with the fundraising end of it. We really need to get this over with, because there's a part of me that won't let myself dream all the way. Because I'm like, what? I'm not going to cut corners. When I looked at what I need for this move and to get established, I cannot cut corners on that, because I looked at my numbers realistically, and while I was conservative in some things, there was something you have to build in for bad decisions, mistakes, what ifs, So that's a firm number, What I'm asking you all for, and then what I'm putting with that, that's what it needs to be. Transfer rate, just in Ghana at least, is about 5 times. So $10,000, your $10,000 contribution represents a $50,000 contribution in Ghana. You see? And then with my own 10,000, that's 100,000. That's a good start for anybody. You're moving to a whole new continent. You need to make sure that you have your money right. And so that's the value of your contribution. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it all matters. When you think about, even when I say if you just have $1, it makes a difference. So you think about $1, that's $5. 5 Ghanaian CDs that you've just given me. You see? So however you need to express it to yourself, I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you, my people. I need you. I need you. I'm looking forward to not sitting here on my couch and I'm looking forward to sitting on my couch and no longer being in America, where I'm saying to you, what's up, everybody? This is Jedi from Ghana, West Africa. I understand that, how's your boy, and I know I'll be stupid. But I'm looking for that, I'm looking for that, My brother that I'm with all the time, my Nigerian brother, He tells me all the time, he goes, you live in America, but your heart is definitely in Africa. Your heart is in Africa. Your heart is in, he tells me that all the time. Your heart is in Africa, brother. Your heart is in Africa. It's the truth. And that he could see that, and feel that is affirming, and but it's also testifies, I've separated myself from here already, I feel the straddle in my heart. Is it gonna happen? Wallahi, it will happen, but to win, if I need to raise this $10,000, and so the quicker that happens, then the more quickly it happens. You see, if nobody ever gave me another dime, is my dream over? No, but my dream is now deferred longer, because what I know absolutely is I'm not making a single step until, it's like you go to the store with a grocery list. You looked at your money in your wallet. You know how much money you got to spend on grocery. When you get to the store, don't buy nothing outside of that. No, and you definitely don't impulse buy, because the next thing you know, you're going to be out of money, and you're not going to have everything you went for, or you're going to be over budget. You understand? This is too serious to mess around with. You don't mess with this. One of the things that I've learned in all of my research, as I continue even my research, which will never end, is you have to have a plan, and you got to stick to it. You got to have a plan, you got to stick to it. You got to have a plan, you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it. And I owe this to myself to do this right. I owe it to all of you who have donated and will donate and believe in me, who want to see me succeed. I owe this to all of us. I owe it to the ancestors. I owe it to my grandparents and my great-grandparents, and my father and my mother, who never got a chance to get back to the continent. I owe this to so many people. This is not just about me. It's like Dr. Maya Angelou used to say, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I stand as 10,000, and I do. I do. It's for all of you who want to make the journey, but just don't see it in their future no kind of way, no matter how bad you want to, or just circumstances won't let you, or whatever. It's for you too. It's for you too. Because I know there's people in the sound of my voice who have contributed to the campaign even, who in their hearts would say to themselves, when they see me in video from Ghana, West Africa, and maybe they have a tear coming down, and they say, I won't get there, but at least I was able to help the Jedi get there. He made it. He made it. He made it. He made it. And that only grows more and more and more and more and more, you guys. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. This and staying alive is the only two things that consume me, it seems. Like, stay alive so you can move to Africa. Like, just... oh, man. I don't think I've ever wanted anything in life more than this. You know. As far as desiring of something, you know. I can't remember any time in my life. I just can't remember a time in my life where that was even, you know. Man. Anyway. I need you. I need my people. Don't sit back. Don't let this be yet another time you've gone past me. If you're one of those people. The link for that GoFundMe is in the description box underneath the video. You click on it, it'll take you right to the campaign. Click on donate and give what you can. And as I said, I'm also on CASHAPP. And that was at the beckoning of some of my followers that said to me, Jedi, are you on Cash App? You know, and I just thought, well, I don't want there to be any barriers for people who want to give, but they couldn't. But I would think that if somebody couldn't give because they would have maybe articulated to me, but let's just help them out anyway. So I added that. So now, like I say, you go to Cash App, it's the Jedi 1814. That's it. Boom, it's done. You know. But I need you, my people. I need you. I need you. I need you. Let's not drag another 14 months. I don't have it. You see, I don't have it. Let's get this done. Let's just get it done and over. Just get it done and over. You know? I was even thinking, last thing I'll say, I don't know, last week, the week before, something like that, I got my thing in the mail, you know, because you have to do your car registration every damn year. I'm over it. And I just thought, I really wish I wasn't even going to be here for this. You know, because I see my life in that context now. Ooh, am I going to be here for that? Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be here for that. When's that happening? I don't know if I'm going to be here for that. You know, but like I say, I'm resistant to letting myself give in to that too much, because it's kind of like, you know, you think you're going to get ice cream and you're not. You know, so don't get happy for the ice cream yet. Don't get happy for the ice cream yet. They're not back from the store. Maybe they're not gonna make it or something. You don't know. Just like the ice cream ain't here yet. Don't just like cool your jets. You know, until you see the ice cream and you have it, then you can get excited about the ice cream. That's how I feel about this. You know, I hope you can understand that. I hope you can understand, but I don't have the words to articulate, you know. So, anyways, I'm going to leave this one here, everybody. Like I said, as I started saying, I think I cut my own self off. Go and watch those videos that I've linked in the description box underneath here for you. The two on Her Excellency, Dr. Arikana Chihombari Kwao. And also, you must watch The Other America, the speech that Dr. King, one of the speeches that he gave. Like I said, that speech is right now. It's right now. But it will be such an eye-opener for you. You'll go, because the minute you aren't paying attention to this enemy, so you'll hear him say things, you'll be like, they were saying that then too? It'll be so familiar to you. You'll be like, they saying that now. Oh, they're doing that now. I'm saying, the nowness of that speech is just like so affirming for me. I didn't need it. You see, I know of this. That's why it's one of the places that I speak from when I'm speaking with such authority on my experience with white people in this nation and their habits and their relationship to us and all those things. That's born out of education and knowledge of self and history and them. You see, so but I love this piece for you because it will be one of the many stair steps, I hope, that will bring you to where I consider myself to be on just this topic alone. That you will, there's value in it. Like, it's just, you need to see that. Like I say, anytime if you're seeing or hearing me, I must have something of value. I must, because like, you know, there's that person, there's friends and maybe people in your family, you only see them when they need money. I'm that dude, you only see or hear me when I have something to give you. That's it. That's how you need to think about the Jedi. Well, if he's got a video out, he must have something that he's trying to enrich me with. So let me click on that. You know, and make sure I thumbs it up right now. Yeah, that's the only time you're going to hear or see me. The only time I've ever spoken. So if I have something of value to impart to my people, something I think will be of value to your lives and to us as a whole. And my job is to just listen to the universe and play my role of being used as a conduit through which the divine is able to communicate to some and many of his other creatures. Because things that I'm able to communicate, maybe another person could say it, but they're not me. So it doesn't resonate with you, the listener, you know. I know my own speaking style is such that I say things in many different ways, because I'm aware, Allah has given me the awareness of you're not just speaking to one person, Jedi, with one intellect. There are many different levels of intellectual development that are witnessing you, witnessing you. And so, did you speak to all intellectual levels? Can all intellectual levels watch and hear what you've presented here and understand what you've said? And if the answer to that is yes, then that's the standard. And then could you see me? Was I well lit? Could you hear me? Was my audio okay? Etc. Etc. You know. So I'm sure that I will be back, you guys, before Christmas. Matter of fact, put me on your Christmas list for all your Christmas folks. I'm over it. I probably will do something on that. I usually do something, you know, each year. I don't always achieve it, but you know, different holidays stand out more to me than others, and sometimes I try and get in there and educate my people. And so maybe I may do something with regard to that, with the whole Christmas thing, before it comes about. And whatever. But anyways, watch those links. Go to the GoFundMe or the Cash App. Give what you can. And then also, like I said, you guys, also that Flame Monroe dude. Like I say, he was a revelation, you know, for me. Because it was like, it just shows like you can be of a group and you can still tell the truth about it. You know, I say this to white people all the time. But when you speak to white people about race, they personally feel attacked. Well, that's your own guilt then. That means you're one of them. You can say anything about black folks. You can say anything about my people. If it's the truth, I'm going to acknowledge that truth. If I'm not that, I don't need to be offended by that. I know you're not talking about me. You're talking about my people. I get it. You can make stuff up now. So I'm saying, we're not having that. You say, but you can tell the truth all day. And so, this is the issue. When you speak, they personally get it. That means it's all y'all. Because if you're talking about somebody's got dog crap on their shoe and making jokes about it, it's not my shoe. And somebody really does have dog crap on their shoe. So why do I have a problem? You see? So I don't deal in that. You know? That's what I tell you. Truth is enough to penetrate. Anybody that I don't have time for nothing else. I'm not concerned about feelings and all that. I don't have that luxury. I don't have that time. You understand? I don't have that time. I just don't have time. I don't have time. Just don't have time. Nah. So, with that, I will say I love you guys all. I thank you so much in advance for your donation. Again, I have to say, for those of you who have donated and have gotten us even to this, whatever number I read, I closed it already, 4,400 and something. For those of you who have given what you could to get us to that point, I am eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful. To the rest of you, go to the campaign and let those very people of which I just spoke, let their contributions be a beacon to you of what you are now capable of doing as well. I'll see you soon.